Let's cook some peas. So today I'm going to show you how I cook my purple hull peas to be the main dish of the meal. So this is not the way I always cook them, but it's the way that I cook them to be a main dish. So I wanted to show you this so that hopefully, if you've never done that, it can give you an idea for a different way to cook your peas. Okay, so this recipe is going to start with meat. I'm going to be using some sausage that we made this year actually, and soon I'm going to have a video up to show y'all how to make sausage, how we make our sausage. But for now, I'm using this sausage. You could also use any other type of meat that you wanted to. You could use, sometimes I make this with just like ground beef. Sometimes I make it with ground pork. So this has seasoning in it, and the seasoning from the meat is going to help season the peas. So if you use a meat that doesn't have seasoning, like just ground beef or whatever, you're going to have to add a little extra seasoning when you make your peas. Now, I like for my sausage to be cut up in bite-sized pieces for this recipe, so I usually cut it in half and then go back. That's not cut all the way through. And cut it like this. You could pre-cook your sausage if you wanted to and then cut it after it was cooked, but I just like to go ahead and cut mine usually first. And like I said, if I was using ground meat, I would brown that. I would start my whole thing with browning my meat and then making sure that I had it broken up really well into, little small pieces. Okay, I'm going to grab my skillet. Okay, so for the sausage, I'm going to start off the cooking process by cooking my sausage, and I'm going to put a little bit of oil in my skillet to get me started. This is coconut oil, but you can use whatever kind of oil you prefer. So I'm going to go ahead and let this sausage get cooked in the oil. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to cut up an onion. Okay, this is the size onion I'm going to use. So this is probably about a half a cup once I get it chopped. But you can use, more. If you like more onion, use a bigger onion, use a whole cup. If you like less, you can even use less, or you can leave this out. I usually just use what I have. So if I don't have onion, I'll just use onion powder in its place. This is a flavorful enough meal that you don't have to really worry about that. Especially if you make it with sausage, like smoked sausage like I'm using right now. The sausage has a lot of flavor, and then we'll add more flavor with our seasoning. So it's going to be a very flavorful meal. And I would consider this to be a good Southern Louisiana meal. These are the kind of things that, we cook on a regular basis. You could also add peppers, bell peppers, or something like that. Feel free to add whatever things you like. I don't usually add peppers to this, but I think it would be good. This is a fairly quick meal to cook also, because peas cook pretty quickly. They usually cook in about 30 minutes, so this is something that you can take your peas straight out of the freezer and have them cooked in probably, 30 to 45 minutes. So my sausage is looking good. The sausage that I'm using is venison and pork, but like I said, you could use any kind, and if you don't have to use sausage. And of course, you could leave the meat completely out if you wanted to. This is the way I cook it. Okay, so my sausage is looking good. I'm going to go ahead and take it out of the skillet and put it in this bowl, and I'm going to turn my heat down a little bit. And this will cook a little bit more while the peas are cooking, but it is, mostly cooked now. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make a roux. So I'm going to add some more of my coconut oil. That's probably, I don't know, 1/4 of a cup of coconut oil. And let me get that heat going again. I'm going to use a few of these big spoons of flour. So I'm going to use around equal amounts of flour and oil. So pretty much everything in Louisiana cooking starts with a roux. And a roux is something that you don't want to rush. Now, you can also do a wetter roux. This would be a wetter roux, or you can do a really dry roux. I'm going to add a little bit more flour to this because it's a little bit wetter than what I want it to be, but it is fine this way. Okay, I like the way this one looks a little bit better. It's not quite as wet as it was. So I have this over a medium heat, and I'm just going to let it brown. But you don't really want to leave your roux. You want to keep it attended, and make sure that it doesn't burn, because it can burn pretty easily. This dish is a favorite in our house, and I like it because it's really easy to cook, and it's always things that I have on hand. It doesn't take anything special to cook this. Okay, see how that flour is starting to get brown? And a true patient cook would cook this at a lower temperature and let it take a lot longer, but I'm not really Not really all that patient. I like to get my stuff done. Okay, I'm going to turn it down now though, because it's getting serious here and it's getting brown. And I'm going to go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and add my onions to my roux. Now they say that your onions will keep your roux from burning once you put the onions in there. I have no idea whether that's true or not, but this is the point that you add your onions. And if you had peppers or any other seasonings like that, you could add them at this point too. Okay, so now I'm going to grab hot water, and I've got 2 cups of hot water that I'm starting with here that I'm going to add to my roux. And you see how that's making a nice brown gravy. And once I get all of this flour worked into it, I'm gonna add some more water, because as it cooks, it will thicken back up. So it's really thick right now. I'm gonna get it a little thinner and then let it thicken back up. Okay, I have another 2 cups, but I might not use all of this. I'm going to use about a cup to begin with. And let's go ahead and add some seasoning to our gravy. Okay, I'm going to add some minced garlic, and this is one pretty large clove. Going to add some Cajun seasoning. This is the brand that I use all the time, so I would recommend it. Now I'm going to start, I don't normally measure this, I normally just put it in there, but I'm going to start with a teaspoon, which might be a little much, so y'all might want to start with a half a teaspoon. You can always add more. And I'm going to add a half of a teaspoon of garlic powder and a half teaspoon of onion powder, and then some salt and black pepper. And I'll just sprinkle this in. If it needs more, I'll add more. I don't have a measurement for this. You see that gravy is thickening up again, so I'm going to add some more water to it. I'm going to add this last cup. So now I've added 4 cups of water to my roux to make this brown gravy. Okay, I'm going to put my sausage back in, and I'm going to go out to the freezer where my pillowcase full of peas are, and I will be right back with my peas. Okay, I just scooped out 2 cups of peas into my measuring cup, and I'm going to add those right in to my gravy. Now, you can add more peas, you can add less peas, but this is going to end up being a rice and gravy meal. So this sausage and peas and gravy, I will serve over rice. I'll just make a pot of rice and then serve this over rice. So now I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to put a top on this and just let it slowly cook on low to medium for about 30 minutes, and it'll be ready to go. By the time my rice gets ready, this will be done and ready to go. So it's as easy as that. Well, thank you for joining me today. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on the notifications so you'll be notified every time that I put out a new video. And let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on purple hull peas. Have you ever grown them? Do you eat them? Is it something you're going to try? So I just would like to hear what your thoughts are. So thank you for being here today, and I'll see you again next week.